So now from that point, since we're about to get to export it out, I'm gonna let y'all know what my settings are, what I normally do, depending on what it is. Now, this is Unreal Engine. Everybody's gonna have different ways of way they want to render out their video, their whatever. To me, the way I look at it is, and what I do is I'm trying to be running gunning. So I'm not necessarily going too far into the path tracing. When it comes to the lumen, it's a lot. I don't even know a lot of that. When it comes to it, I know it takes more time when you put more different iterations and things on there. But what I'm doing is I'm just going to show y'all what I do to try to get something out there and start working. So right now, if I'm happy with this stuff, I'm happy with the animation, I'm happy with the lighting, I'm happy with what I got here, and I want to export this out, right? So what I will do is this 40 seconds, we're going to still go through depending on whatever kind of computer you have. I'm running, I definitely got a the RTX A6000 graphics card. So it is definitely a beast on this, but I would go through here. And when I say here, let me show you exactly what I'm doing again, because I know y'all just watching and trying to learn. At least I am, right? So I'm going to go over here to the render queue button. We're going to click that. I got my sequence. I'm going to go to unsaved configs. What I'm first off doing is I delete the JPEG sequence. Okay, so most people I know that they will normally go through, they're going to put an EXR file so you can get a 16-bit. That's definitely big. Like it's a better file, or you got the PNG sequences. You can take those PNG sequences into like After Effects and start to import as like multiple multiple images, and then you get a video in there. When I'm trying to make these little short video clips that I'm doing on YouTube, and I'm doing color correction in, Premiere, things like that, I'm just going to go through and hit this Apple ProRes. Now, I know that it's probably people going to say, oh, no, we don't use that. I get it. Me doing that, the Gods Among Who, I did all these things I put in Apple ProRes. Could it be better with other things? Yes. I'm not saying that it can't. I'm saying for workflow of what I'm using for quick things that I want to hurry up and get out there. So I normally put it on Apple ProRes 4444XQ. Now, deferred rendering, I'll leave that the same. Let's say if we go to output, I'll go through here. Normally, I have one of these already set up, but I'm just showing y'all when it comes to presets that I already made. So I'll go through where do I want this to save. I'm gonna put it up in Jimmy's test. We're just gonna leave it there. That's good, sounds good. I'm gonna keep all of this the same. I usually have this as 4096. Depending on your computer and how fast or what your output you wanna be, you can let that be. I'm doing this at 24 frames. I usually click this and I can hit accept. Now if I hit accept and then I hit render, we're gonna start rendering this bad boy. Like I said, depending on your computer specs, this might be a slow process for you. All right, so I'm just letting y'all see a little bit of this as it is. It got done with the shaders, compiling shaders, and right now it's just going through and rendering. And like I said, this is rendering. I'm not looking at like path tracing. We're not bringing in more samples and all of those things. This is just straight up, I'm pushing it out there. If you go into all of those other things where you're adding in the subsamples and you're bringing in path tracing and things like that, will it look better? Yes, it will. What does that process look like as far on the back end? And just like I said, my personal opinion is you have to think about if things are worth it. I know that when you want to go through and get a path tracing thing, something at like this magnitude or whatever, even if you got like a powerful computer, you still could be waiting, 10 hours, 15 hours just to go through and render it. And what you won't see is probably some edge of the glitch of the hair or whatever, different things like that. It'll look a little dialed in the way that it affects the light bounces off of it. So it's so many different things that depending on how you're looking at it, that will, if that's worth it. For what I'm doing, throwing things on YouTube, making these little quick videos, I'm not worried too much on that. So by me doing it this way, being my workflow, it's going to give you something that you can spit out, work on. If you don't like how it looks, you can dial things in. You can light your scene correctly. It might take a lot of time, but if you light your scene correctly, and or at least the best that you think it's going to be, that right there can give you enough to still, I ain't gonna say fool the eyes, but it'll still make sure that whoever's viewing it is enjoying it, and they're not gonna be calling out all these different things. Because, you know what I mean, it's only, you know what I mean, as far as what we're gonna be doing on here, you have to always put it in perspective. It ain't like we're the people over there at DC, the animation team, and that they're working on a lot of things, and people still said things about the animation in the Flash, and that was on a big budget movie. What we do is, you know what I mean, and think about the credits, think about the end credits. You can have a lot of people working at end credit scene, and if you are like myself, you're coming in as by yourself, just going through a one-man band. And if you're pushing out something like this and it's still decent quality, your story's strong, you can make that stuff happen. All right. So what I'm going to do now is, all right, y'all. So we are back in here. Now we're in Adobe Premiere. So after I'm in here, I just brought that export that I just did. We're going to put that in here so we can see it right there. That's what we just created. But we got no sound. We have nothing, right? I can play back. You can see what I made. We can see what we have. Hair blowing, Jimmy walking, Jimmy no eyes. And we have that. So I just drag this over here. You can do all whatever else you want to do. I'm not going to try to go over how I do color grading and things in here. But what I am, excuse me, I feel like I have to burp or something. Let me drink a little bit of water. So basically we're going to talk about I'm shooting all of this stuff straight up and then break it down into parts for y'all. So we have this. Now what we got to do is I want to put some music over here, a music bed. What I normally do is this ain't no promotion. I go through Artlist. I did subscribe for the yearly annual subscription or whatever. So I'm not saying that it's other ways to go in here too. You have Filmstro, wherever you find your music at. If you wanted to make your own sound effects, things like that. So music, let's just look for Halloween. I see they got here a Halloween collection. Let's just take a click on what they have in the Halloween collection. I never went there, but we're just going to take a look. We'll take a little listen. All right. Let me see. Art of a Dead Man. Let's say we're going to go with that. All right. So I'm going to download that one. We're just going to take that bad boy. And then we need some sound effects as well. So let's go look through here. And what we need is some footsteps, right? That's what we're looking for. Let's type in footsteps. All right, so we just want some footsteps, some walking. Let's see what we have. I don't like that. Let's see this. Let's say we like that. We're going to go with that. So I'm going to download that bad boy. That's all I'm going to use for now. All right. All right. So I downloaded my music as well as the footsteps. All right. We're just going to see some of those right here. We're going to put our Dead Man on. I know it's probably got his whatever. We're just going to play it back. Probably wanted like around 24, so I'm just gonna hit G minus, let's go 15. All right, so we're gonna have it in there. Then we're gonna look at our footsteps, and then you can just kind of boom, you can pick however you want to do this. I'm just going to go through, I'll fast forward some of this. All right, so fast forward through that, got all of the footsteps in there. As you can see those on the timeline right there. All right, from there, next what we got to do is we got to put some voice to this. The only reasons why I don't have it in there right now, which I did, but I was recording. So y'all saw me do it live as I'm recording and making the facial animation, because what you would normally do, or at least what I would normally do, is I would already have that audio dialed in, and then I would take that into Unreal Engine as well. And I can put that as a like a WAV file or whatever, an audio track, so I can already have it synced up on there and export that out as well, so it's already synced up. But since I couldn't do that because I was recording this with y'all live while making the video, I had to actually bring in the video. So here right now, you can see me. This is me talking. But what I did was I found the placement. So it's right here is when I do my recording for the character Jimmy with no eyes, right? So what I did was I already dragged that and brought that down here. I added a few gain levels on here. I added 16 dB of gain just so we can have that playing. And if you see, now we have the score, the music under it. We have the voice. Let's see how that voice looks. Is it going correctly with it? Now we're walking. What are we talking about? I'm blinking. My eyes are still gone. I can take a look. And I'm getting ready to stop. And I'm looking around. I know he don't got no eyeballs, but it's what it is. All right, so now that we have that in there, that's the audio track. You can do whatever kind of audio sweetening that you like to do. If it's any effects in equal high pass, low passes, all of that, whatever you need to do for your audio, take care of that. I'm definitely not the best at audio, so I'm not gonna give no advice on that. What I am gonna say is what I'm doing for this test is I just got my audio layer that I just did. I got a score on here, and we got our footsteps. If you wanted to add some wind, some ambiance, you can go through and do all of that. But what I want to do is I want to show y'all how this thing look. Now we're walking. What are we talking about? I'm blinking. My eyes are still gone. I can take a look. And I'm getting ready to stop. And I'm looking around. I know he don't got no eyeballs, but it's what it is. Where's my hand at? My hand starts to raise. I'm looking at my hand raise. It looks crazy, right? So we have that. That's all I want for this. I just want to make something happen, something to look. All right. So we got that right there. And that's basically my workflow when it comes to me making these things happen. There's a few steps that I didn't go over as far as like dialing things in. But this right here gives you a good understanding. Like I said, I'm breaking this down into parts where you can hear how I do from the beginning to actually pushing out. And basically what I would do is if I feel like this was done, I would export this out. You can look into whatever settings you want to, and then you can upload this bad boy over to YouTube, Instagram, or whatever you feel that you need to do. I might be putting this thing out, and you can just see this, but at the same time, I'm going to break down, I don't know how many parts this is, but just showing you steps of the way of what it took me to make something like this, and it's the workflow that I use when it comes to me creating as well. I'll spend a little bit more time with lighting in Unreal Engine to make sure things kind of pop and stand out and look cinematic the way I would like it to look. And even in Premiere, I would start adding on a couple of effects to, you know what I mean, to color correct and make things pop as well in there. And I just didn't do that now because I know this is running on too long. So for the most part, hopefully this helped you. Hopefully you can get out, take some of these things into consideration when you're going in and making your creative decisions and creative choices, and it can probably add something to your bag and your workflow. Like I said, this is a lot. There's a bunch of stuff just going over, and I'm trying to do this all. I ain't gonna say with one take, but it's pretty much one long one since I've been in here. So for the most part, expect to see these parts that's going to be coming out, and get out there, continue to create, and I'll talk to you later.